everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial, we are going to be looking at how you can create books for Amazon KDP with Canva. So the type of book we are going to be creating is the Kindle paperback. So of course, you know that there are two or different types of books that you can actually create, but then there are two basic formatting, and that is the ebook and the paperback book. That's the paperback book has to do with books that Amazon will publish on your behalf and then send to your customers, right? So the first consideration would be how you get your manuscript, right? So I'm going to be assuming that you already have your manuscript ready. So you're going to be getting your manuscript into Canva and then formatting. So the basic thing we want to do in this place is the formatting. But then if you haven't yet gotten your book ready and you want to use Canva to write, you can also go ahead to do that, right? So it's either you have an original idea of a book, or you want to write your book through the help of AI. And these days, ChatGPT is actually helping. But then you also have to be careful because ChatGPT is not human, and sometimes their language might sound very mechanic. Then again, you also have to be careful because Amazon is going to be checking your book for AI content, and in extreme cases, when they discover too much of AI in your content, it might actually lead to your account getting disabled, right? So if you're going to be using AI, you have to be careful. So AI is not replacing human intelligence. Once you get your book written with AI, you want to try to ensure that you mix in some of your own ideas into the book. All right. So so in this instance, I've written my book with AI just for the sake of this tutorial. But then what I'll do is to get all the ideas that the AI or ChatGPT has shared with me. I'll take the manuscript to maybe Google Docs, and then I'll try to infuse my own ideas into it. That way I'll be ensuring that it is a mix of both AI and human, so it's not going to be 100% AI. All right, so I hope that is clear. The next thing to consider is your Canva account, right? If you don't have a Canva account, of course you go on to create your Canva account, and there are two types of Canva accounts you can have. You can either have the premium version or the free version. The free version is going to be very helpful for creating your book. But then there are, some elements that you might want to add to your book that would only be available in the premium version. And sometimes it can be really frustrating when you can't actually use an element just because it's on premium, right? So there are actually ways you can, get Canva Premium. You can either start with the 30 days free plan, all right, at the end of which, if you enjoy it, you can now opt to, go get the premium, right? But then there is also another way, and that way is to join Canva team. So there are some people who have bought the complete Canva package, that's the premium version, and then they are bringing in people to to come and be in their teams, right? So what you just simply do is to pay the person some amount of money, and then you get added into their team. So for this Canva account I'm actually part of a team, all right, and I paid some monies. So after you've gotten your Canva accounts ready, the next thing you want to think about is how to get your book dimension, right? So the typical book dimension that a lot of people use when they are creating paperback book is the 6 by 9 inches, right? But then if you want to add bleeds to your book, you're going to be making it 6.125 by 9.25. And what that simply means is that for bleeds, it means that you probably want to add pictures to your book and you want the pictures to extend to the ends of the book. So you can actually be free to extend your pictures to the ends or the margins of the book. All right. But when you're using no bleed, it means that you just want to use you're just going to be doing text, and then the text is just going to be within the margin of your book. So if at all you want to use pictures for your book, I would advise you go with the 6.125 by 9.25. All right, so what we're just going to simply do is to come to custom size. So this is my Canva account. So you come to custom size, and then you enter the sizing. But then take note of this place where we have units. So by default, it's going to be on pixels, but you want to change it to inches, right? Then let's say we want to use the 6.125 by 9.25, right? So I'll start to enter it. That's 6.125 by 9.25. So once we've entered this, I'll just click on create new design, and then it's going to be taking us into the canvas or the interface where we're going to be doing our editing. So this is how the interface, or this is how our book size is going to be looking like. So you can see now that it's sized as a proper book, right? So the next thing, of course, we're going to be doing is to start to populate the pages of this book with our book content, right? So just like I said, I have written my book with ChatGPT just for the sake of the tutorial, and we're just going to be doing copy and paste, and then we would go on to format the book, right? So I've asked ChatGPT to help me create a book on meditation, like a 5-chapter book on meditation, and it has done that for me. So what I'm just going to do is to go to the beginning of the book. All right, so it's not very elaborate because I just wanted it to be very short, right? So we have introduction, we have the chapters and all what's not. So I'm just going to copy from the introduction. So when we start the formatting, we are going to be adding other things like the front cover, the copyright page, and all of that, right? So to add my content, I'm just going to select the page, and then I'll come to text, and then I'll add a body text, right? So we'll start with the body text. So I'll bring it up here, and then I'll enter what I've copied, right? So this is our introduction. Then you're going to be adding page to add the other chapters, all right? So I'll come back to ChatGPT and I'll copy my chapter 1. And then, now one thing I want to do to ensure that all of these pages, have uniform font size and font style, is to edit this very first, text here, and then continue to duplicate it so that when we start to edit, we won't have so much issues, right? So what I'm going to do is this particular text, I'm going to align it properly. All right, I'll align it properly, and then I'll give it the font size of Montserrat. So Montserrat is what I like to use. You can actually choose the one you want to use. So I'll use Montserrat. That's for the body text, right? So you can see that it's Montserrat, and I'm just going to duplicate, and then that's what I'm going to be using for my complete text, right? So I'll just duplicate this page. So I'll come here, and then I'll highlight the text. I'll highlight the text, and then I'll paste what I've just copied from ChatGPT. So you can see that it's a bit longer, right? So let me remove this introduction here. Then I'll just put my cursor on it and move it forward, right? All right, so I'll duplicate it again and put my chapter 3. All right, so let me just pause this video and copy and paste in all of the chapters, and then we'll come back and do the formatting. All right, okay, so now I've populated my pages with the book content. So the next thing we want to do is to start the formatting, and we will start our formatting with putting together the other parts of the book, right? Like the title page, the copyright contents, and the table of content, right? So for you might want to have a dedication page or an acknowledgement page. That's okay. So what I'm just going to do is to duplicate this first chapter, this one that says page 1. I'll just duplicate it, and then I would remove this text here. Then I'll come back to text, and then I'll add a heading, right? So the title of this book is A Guide to Meditation. So I'll start to type A Guide to Meditation, right? Meditation by my name, right? So I'll write my name, but I want this to be in the center, so I'll bring it here so I can enlarge this a little. So one of the things you can also do is to increase the size of your pages, right? So that you can see what you're doing properly, right? Like that. But I want to be able to see the alignments. All right. Let me just increase this a little. All right, that's okay. So A Guide to Meditation, and then I'm going to be adding a subheading, which is going to be my name, right? And I'll bring it down here, and then I'll write my name, right? Mary Adele. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add a copyright page. And here, this is the page. All right, copyright is going to here. Maybe out of it. Now let's update this out. Let's copyright copyright. Just a bit, I'll paste it here. The next page is our table of contents. So I'll remove all this text here. And then the table of contents, we're going to be working on it after we have worked on all our chapters. Then another thing I want to do is to space out this content. So if you look at it, you will see that all this text is too much for this page. So I'm just going to duplicate the pages and then I'll space out the content. So I'll click on duplicate and I'll come to this first one. This is chapter 5, right? So I'll bring this down. I'll bring this is understanding meditation. Understanding meditation is the subtext. So you can see that it's already filling the page over. So I'll just come to where we have in this chapter. So I'll copy it, right? I'll copy it out and then I'll delete it. All right. So this is what we're having on this particular page. Then I'll come to this one and I'll also delete this page. I'll delete the text rather. Then I can also do this. I'll just highlight this text on the other page and I'll copy it and bring it down here. The reason why I'm doing this is so that we can have uniform text font style. All right. So I'll highlight it and then I'll do Control A and then I'll paste what I copied. That's the other part of the chapter. All right. So we have this and I'm going to do this for the other page as well. So I'm going to bring the subtext down. Then I'll bring this down too. And then we have key steps to mindful breathing. So you can actually do this from any part of the book, right? So all of these things I'm doing is to ensure that the book comes out nicely. All right. So once you have an idea of how this formatting works, you should be able to do yours any way you actually want to do it. But this is just showing you basically what you ought to be doing. All right. So then we have chapter 5. Chapter 5 is a bit plenty. So I'll just copy it from that, remember, and then I'll delete it. All right. Copy and delete. Okay. Okay, then I'll duplicate this page. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to just edit the pages, one by one as we go. All right. So for this title page, a guide to meditation, I'm going to be changing the text style. All right. I can also change the text size. Let's say I'll change it to 50. All right. So you know where to change the text missing from it up here, as you can see, right? So and then I'll change the text style. So let me give it this little one. So there are different text styles out there that you can actually use. Then this one I would also give it okay, let me give it Montserrat, right? So that's okay. All right. Then for our copyright page, I'll bring this up and then I'll also give it Lilita ones. What the idea is to now, give all our headings the same text style. All right. So I can also make it bigger than this. I'll give it 30. All right. So the size, I'll give it 30. And then this is more like the subtext. Okay, but not exactly do. Then I think I'll just leave it at this, right? 18. Then for this main part of the text, I'm going to reduce the text style. I'm going to be reducing the text size to 12. All right. I'll reduce it to 12. Click on enter. And then I'll align it justified. There are different alignments, right? So I'm just going to justify it. So that's it. Then what I can also do is to reduce so that it doesn't go to the end of the page. So I'm going to put my cursor on this where you're seeing my arrow on, and then I'll shift it in. And this is so that all the text can actually enter inside. All right. And since I've done that, I'll now increase the size a little, right? So I can just give it 15. Okay. Give it 15, click on enter. And then another thing I'm going to do is to increase the indentation, right? So I'll click on it and then come to this icon here where it's written spacing. Then I'll increase the line spacing, right? So you can see now that I've spaced it out, all right? I've spaced it out. So you can see it's beginning to look like a proper book, right? Okay, great. So let me see if I can also bring this in it. So, okay, all right. So I think this is fine. This is better. So our copyright page is okay, right? Then the next page we are going to be editing is our chapter 1, all right? Then I'll come to, okay, so what I'm going to do is, for the chapter 1, I'm going to be using a heading, right? So I'll just clean out this one. And then understanding meditation, which is a subtitle, I'm also going to be giving it a subheading style, right? So I'll bring this down, all right? And then I'll also, then I'll come to heading, and then I'll put my heading, chapter 1, and then a subheading, of course, which is understanding meditation. I'll put it there, all right? Then I'll bring it. So the size of our chapter 1 should be 40 so that it's not too big, right? Then this one, we can also reduce it to 20. All right? 20, understanding meditation. Okay. Then for this one, I would also, bring it in. I'll bring all the text in like this. All right? And then I'll bring it to the middle. Then I'll align it justified. All right, great. Then I'll also space them out, right? I'll space out the lines just like this. Then this is okay, but then I can also still reduce the font size to say 15. But I think it's okay. It's perfect. So remember that when somebody picks this book, the way it's looking on screen is not the same way it's going to be looking physically. So it's going to be bigger, right? So the text are going to be looking bigger. Then we are going to be doing the same thing for this one. So since we don't have any main headings here, we are just going to bring this down, bring it in like this, and then we would also increase the spacing and then align it justified. Okay. So what you can also do is to space this out a lot. So for this place that says in this chapter, you can also hold it so that it comes up like that. Then you can also add a picture to this place, right? So maybe for the places where you have the pages where you have a lot of space, you can just decide to add pictures, right? So let me do that. Let me do something like that. I'll come to elements, and then since this is a book about meditation, so I'll just search for meditation, and let's see the kind of elements we would get. So I would love to get somebody who is meditating. Exactly. So I'll just bring this here and bring it down. All right. Great. Now the next thing we're going to be formatting is the chapter 2. All right. So I'm going to copy this as usual and then remove this. So once I'm done with this particular part, I'm going to pause the video and then do all the formatting, and then we'll come back and see how the book is going to look like. So the basic thing is you already have an idea of, what to do from all that I've done in the previous pages, right? But let me just do this one once again so that you can see it. So you bring this down, all right, and then let's add the main chapter heading. So come back to text and then click on put heading. So chapter 2, right? Chapter 2. Then bring your subheading text, bring it down, and then paste getting started with mindful breathing. So you can also shift this in like this. And then remember we reduced the size of our heading to 40. So I'm going to also do that here for 40. And then let me see the size I give this one. Understanding meditation, that's 20. So I'll give it 20. All right, great. Then I'll also bring this in. Okay, let's reduce it to 15 first. Since it's 15, we're now using for everything. Then I'll bring this in like this. So everything is already justified as I'm seeing it. So the content are already justified. So we don't have to be doing that anymore. So I'm going to now increase the spacing. Come here and increase the spacing like this. Great. One of the things we can also do is to put some styles on, between this chapter and the subtitle, right? So let me bring this down. So we can decide to put like okay, let me look for an element we can use, right? Let's see. Chapter elements. Okay. Amazing. So this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. So I'll bring this here and then I'll put it below the chapter, right? So you can see that it's beginning to look more like a proper book. So I'll also do the same thing for the chapter 1. All right. So I'll bring down this title and this here. So our book is complete as well as the formatting. So I'm just going to go through it. So this is the first page, the title page, a guide to meditation, the copyright page, table of content, which we haven't worked on. Then we have our chapter 1, and then we have this picture here. So the reason why you should also aim to use pictures that are black and white is because when you use colored pictures, it gets more expensive to print, and then you might actually get lesser profits, except you really increase your price, right? But then when you're starting out on Amazon, it's always better to use prices that are competitive, right? So you might want to start with using pictures that are, in colorless pictures, right? Just in case you want to add pictures, right? Then we have this page, we have our chapter 2, so you can see that everything is properly aligned, right? And then also the chapters content. And then we have chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and then we have a conclusion, right? So what I'm going to do is to put this book in grid view so that I can see a different perspective of the book, right? So I'm just going to come to grid view, right? So you click on grid view and then we're going to be seeing it like this. So this gives you an overview of how all the content or of how all the pages will look like, and then from here you can see if something is not right or not properly aligned. So add a table of contents, we're going to be using the subheading test, right? So I'll click on subheading, bring this close here. So the book starts with the copyright page. So normally the title page is not going to be part of the table of contents. So we are just going to add copyright. So before we start to add their numbers, let's just write out all the main headings, right, that we want to actually highlight. So we have our copyright page. We have, all right, so now we're going to start aligning them properly. So this table of contents, let's reduce it to 40, just like the other titles, right? Then the style should be milliliter 1, don't forget. All right, and then bring this here. Then we can just put like the dots, and then put the page number. So I think the page number is 2. So the next thing you want to do is to download your book in PDF and then go on to upload it to Amazon. But then it's not going to be complete without the cover, the book cover. So in the later tutorial, I'm going to be creating another video on how to create your book cover so that you can have everything ready, both the book cover and the main book, to be uploaded to Amazon. So if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, you might want to do that so that you won't miss out when I publish that video showing you how to create your book cover for your paperback book. All right. So to get your book downloaded, all you just simply need to do is to come to where we have share and then click on download. So Canva is going to be suggesting that you download it as PNG, but what you're going to be downloading it as is PDF print. So click on PDF print and then select all 12 pages, right? That's the entire page, and then go on to download. So this brings us to the end of this particular tutorial. Don't forget to like this video and also share it to people in your network whom you believe would also benefit from this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.